Today I want to talk about the path of love. Now, I've started walking this path because I've walked other paths and they haven't worked out for me, and I'm choosing to walk towards love in gratitude. In gratitude for everything that's coming into my life right now, whether it's good or bad. I'm just always keeping my focus on love and keeping my eye on love no matter what. And when I talk about Jesus keeping his eye on the higher purpose, that's what I mean. He kept his eye on love no matter what. Even when he was beaten, battered, bruised, dying, he kept his eyes on the higher purpose of love and stayed in a frequency of forgiveness. And I just love that story. And I'm not religious, I'm not Catholic, I'm not Christian. I don't know if this was a real man or not, whether he existed or not. I don't know, we can sit here and argue about whether it's fact or fiction. I don't really care. I just love the story of a man being able to be the embodiment of unconditional love, because that means I can be the embodiment of unconditional love too. And by me being that, I can attract unconditional love into my life because I deserve it, because I'm worthy of it, because I am that, because I'm calling it in, because that's what I want, that's what I desire. So universe, bring it on and bring it all in for me, because I'm on the path of love. And if you don't resonate with Jesus, think about all the other spiritual teachers. Instead of us arguing about who the messenger was, are we getting the message? Be the embodiment of unconditional love. That is where our focus should always be. And life is a crazy roller coaster. We ride the wave, we experience all these different emotions. But if our focus is always coming back to love, back to love, back to love, we're raising our own frequency, we're raising our own vibration. And everything that happens in your life is a manifestation of where you're at vibrationally. So I can speak of like my own personal experience of shifting my vibration to love, and everything that didn't match that literally disappeared. Events, circumstances, people, places, things that made me feel anything other than love, that made me feel depression, that made me feel anger, that made me feel unworthy, they started to dissipate. They literally started to disappear from my physical reality, from my physical world. It was like my timeline just got cleaned from all of that because I was in a frequency of love. So everyone and everything that didn't match that literally just disappeared out of my life. And that's what you can do. And it's not always easy staying in that frequency of love. We're going to feel all these other emotions, but when we keep coming back to that again and again and again, you will just raise your frequency, raise your vibration, and you'll keep going onto your highest timeline and onto your highest path. And that's the highest path is the path of love. And I've walked the other paths. I've walked the path of depression. I've walked the path of anger, of resentment, of jealousy, of comparison, of unworthiness, of envy that is so green, not like heart chakra green, but like gremlin green that overtakes your entire being. I've lived that. I've walked those paths, and if you've walked them, you know that they're just senseless journeys to nowhere. That they're not going anywhere. And the path to love is the path of expansion. It's the breath of the universe, love. So if we follow that, we will follow our true essence, we'll follow our true path, we'll follow with where we're meant to go and where we're meant to be. Walking the path of depression, anxiety, bitterness, hatred, resentment, unworthiness are all paths of suffering. And it is just a perpetual cycle. It's just a circle of going around and around and around. You're not going anywhere, you're not growing, you're not evolving, you're staying stuck in this perpetual cycle of suffering. But when we walk the path of love, it's a path of expansion. Now, when I'm saying I'm walking towards love, don't mistake me when I say that like love is in the distance and we're like trying to reach it and trying to get there and at some future moment. We are love. We are made of love. We were created out of love, not created out of fear. And in truth, only we can create out of how we were created. So only we can create out of love as well. And so when we're following the path of love, we're in love as we're on that path and on that journey, heading towards more love, heading towards more happiness, more joy, more bliss, more ecstasy, not from drugs, not from plant medicine, but from your life and from your own frequency. And being at that frequency of love wipes out those lower, denser frequencies of depression, anxiety, hatred, of violence, of war. This is how we change the world. And our inner world reflects our outer world. And again, that sounds like a cliche. I've heard it a million times, and in theory, I knew it for years, but only when you start practicing it and it starts like clicking in, do you really understand what that means. That in my life, when I was on the path of depression and unworthiness, I was surrounded by people that made me feel that and reaffirmed my beliefs. And when I shifted and started staying in a frequency of love and focusing on love, those things literally disappeared out of my life. And I have people, I live in the same suburb as them, I go to the same grocery store as them, and I never see them anymore. I literally have people who live in the same street as me, and I know I will never see them again because our frequencies don't match anymore. Our vibrations do not match. And everything in your physical reality is based off your vibration. So when you want to be calling in love, you need to be at the vibration of love. And I've always wanted to call in love, but I wasn't always at the vibration of love, and that's why it didn't come in for me. And many of us are unconscious of where our vibration is at, where our frequency is at, and that's why we can cause ourselves so much unnecessary suffering, is because we don't know what we're emanating, what we're giving out. And this is the secret of life. This is it. This is what we've come here to do. This is who we are. We are spiritual beings that have come down into physical human bodies to play this energetic game of waking up every morning and being like, what vibration am I going to be at today? What frequency am I going to emanate out into the world today? What am I going to attract into my vibrational experience through my own vibration? And that choice is always yours. You choose where your vibration's at, you choose where your frequency's at. And the power of your life is always in your hands. And I know that stings for some of you, and it did for me as well. So you're saying, Jade, that the power of my life is in my hands and I'm in charge of it and I'm in control of my reality and I can't backhand it off to someone else to fix and to sort out for me? Yes. You're saying that I have to do the work? Yes. You're saying that I have to consciously choose where my vibration and my frequency's at in every moment? Yes. That is your job. That is your duty. Do not hand it over to anyone else. Do not give it up to society. Do not look outwards for help. Do not go to the world, because it's designed to keep you in fear. It's designed to keep you in lower, denser frequencies. It will not take you to love if you go to society, if you go to a doctor, if you go to the world and ask them for help. It will keep you in fear. You turn on the news, we see fear-mongering, we see war, we see violence, we see hatred, we see bitterness. We see that there's no hope for humanity. We see that humanity is doomed and it's all downhill from here and AI is going to take over and it's the end. The end is coming. If you're on the path of love, firstly, you don't watch the news, and secondly, you don't tap into those frequencies of war, of depression, of hatred, of violence. They don't exist in your field. Now, I don't watch the news, and some people might look at me and go, well, Jade is just a girl that's naive and ignoring the world events. And maybe that's true. But if everyone was focused on the path of love, and everything in our physical reality only matches our frequency, if everyone was focused on love, where does war go? Where does violence go? If it has nowhere to meet it, where there's no other vibration to match it, it will disappear. I actually genuinely believe this is how we change the world. We're not going to fight against war. We're not going to protest against it. If we all just stay in a frequency of love and peace and joy and happiness, the frequencies of war and violence cannot exist anymore because it cannot match our frequency. When it doesn't match, it's gone. Our entire timeline just gets wiped of those things and of those qualities when we're not focusing on them. And that is, I think, the way for us to change the world, is for us to always be focused on love, to get off the news, get out of fear, and stay in a frequency of love, and only attract things that match the frequency of love, and not tap into all these other horrible things that we could, when we put our intention on them, when we put our focus on them, they grow. right? Where attention goes, energy flows. If we put our attention on love all the time, war will dissipate, war will stop. If we're not in fear, it won't keep perpetuating, it won't keep being created, it won't keep going. It'll just fade away, and our timelines will be wiped of that, and we'll be able to be on that path of love. What you want to bring into your vibrational experience is based on your vibration. This is science. This is spiritual science. Literally nothing can physically manifest in your reality unless it matches your frequency. If you're not liking your life right now, if you're not liking what you're seeing, change your vibration, shift it to love, and see how quickly these lower, denser frequencies get absolutely wiped from your timeline. They disappear. There are people that have just poofed out of my life, just gone. And I don't know if they even exist anymore. I don't know where they've gone. They're still in the same street, they're still in the same suburb, but we're in different timelines and we'll never cross because we're not on the same frequency anymore. And that is what's so beautiful about being on this path of love, that when you do cross paths with someone and you have that synchronicity, you go, damn, you must be on the same vibration as me because we cross paths, we must be matching in some way. And maybe you're a past version of me, or maybe I'm a past version of you and we're meeting to learn something, and maybe our souls signed up to this. And it's just this beautiful experience of life. And instead of tapping into the fear and watching the news and watching all the war and watching all the horrible things that are going on in life, start cultivating the love within. And if everyone did that, war has no place to go. It will disappear, it will dissipate, it will be gone, it will fade away into nothingness, and we'll all be laughing one day at how we lived in a world like this one, when there was all this bitterness and hatred and mess going on, when all we had to do was change our own frequency to change our physical reality, and it manifests something beautiful by focusing on the path of love. So love is the way I walk in gratitude. Lesson 195 of A Course in Miracles. If you haven't read that book, it will blow your mind. But this is the path I'm walking now, and I pledge to, no matter what happens, no matter what emotions I sink into, I keep coming back to love. I keep bringing myself back to that, to shift my frequency, to shift my life by staying in that frequency, so I only attract unconditional love into my life, because that's all I want. And I'm walking in the path to love, but love is not the destination, because I am love. I'm already it. I'm already there. I've already made it. It's nothing happening in the future. It's all happening for me right now. And you'll see how quickly it happens for you. It will happen right now. You can shift your entire life right now in this second. And it's like changing the channel on your TV. Like, you just flick channels, you flick lives, you flick timelines, and all of a sudden, bang, you're in somewhere else. You're in this frequency of love. You're attracting all these people that love you and value you and cherish you. When I was on the path of depression and unworthiness, I was surrounded by people that made me feel unworthy, unlovable, not good enough. I wasn't valued, I wasn't cherished. My presence wasn't noticed, my absence wasn't noticed, and it was horrible. And the universe was lovely to bring people into my life to show me that I was in that frequency, because I wasn't aware of it myself. Your vibration is always creating your reality, whether you're aware of it or not. And the universe is very kind to bring people into your life to show you where your vibration is at. So look out at your physical life. It is evidence of where you're at vibrationally right now. So if it's not good, look within and figure out where your frequency is at and how it can be changed to attract something better. Because when I shifted into love out of this unworthiness, I'm not good enough, I'll never amount to anything, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, I'm nothing, and I shifted into, actually, no, I am worthy, and I want to stay in a frequency of love, and I want to attract love into my life. I have met so many beautiful, amazing people that love me, that value me, that cherish me, and that's all I had to do, was just shift it. And this is the secret of life, always shifting our frequency, always shifting our vibration, and staying on that path of love.